Encouraging start to his training career in Hong Kong. There are 27 trainers in Hong Kong, 4 of them Australians, a couple of the others very well known, John Moore, the son of the great George Moore, and also Graham Begg, or Neville Begg I should say, his son Graham Begg, training very successfully, had a winner yesterday with Monopolise in Sydney. As I said, David's made a splendid start to his career in Hong Kong. He told me on the phone on Friday that he hopes to stay there indefinitely and he's really enjoying the challenge.
He's only been in the colony a short time, coming to Asia's biggest racing showcase, but already he's trained a winner.
It was a very big thrill because I was really starting all over again, coming here, and to win with that horse because he was raced in Hong Kong for 3 years and he'd never run a place, so to win was a bit of a result anyway, and probably best summed up as relief to get the pressure off because there was a lot of hype with me having runners in Hong Kong for the first time.
For David Hayes and family, it's been a big transition from Australia to a city of 6 million people.
We've got a bit more domestic help, which is very nice, and I don't drive much anymore. I miss the open spaces of Lindsay Park, but I'm enjoying the city lifestyle.
And how does the racing compare?
Racecourses are superb here, but there's 6 million people and there's 2 courses catering for them. In Australia, I think there's over 2,000 and only 13 million people. So obviously, by the distances apart, it would be very hard to compare the two.
David's older brother Peter is running Lindsay Park, and he's doing very well.
My brother's been doing extremely well. In fact, the other night I rang him up and said, look, I want you to do well, but don't show me up. And in fact, he's had a dream start, and I think he's leading on both tables, the Adelaide and Victorian, so I'm very proud of him.
They love a bet in Hong Kong. On Saturday, they race at Sha Tin in the New Territories. On Wednesday night, it's racing at Happy Valley on Hong Kong Island.
I would best describe it as probably a Group 1 day, every day of the week. They get huge crowds, and it'd be like a grand final in most sports. It's the #1 sport up here, and the locals are fanatical about it.
There are many Australian horses now racing in Hong Kong, but how would champion galloper Jeune measure up?
Jeune would be a good horse anywhere, and I think he'd win up here with a leg tied in the air. I wish I had him here, to be honest.
The standard of racing in Asia is improving, but it all comes down to money.
With the power of the Chinese, with their dollar and so much money, I predict in the next 4 or 5 years their high-class horses will be up to Australia, but because they can afford to buy so much. Second part of the question, jockeys. The jockeys are a very high standard. It's really the showcase of jockeys in the world. All the leading jockeys from their countries are trying to get into the place because it's so lucrative for a jockey.
David Hayes seems very happy in the pressure cooker world of Hong Kong racing. But is there anything he misses?
Mum's roasts on Sundays and the freedom of training at Lindsay Park, my training centre in Australia.
I'm sure Mum Betty Hayes will be cooking a roast today because good news from Sha Tin overnight. David trained another winner, a horse called Evasers, who hadn't won a race for a year. He's trained 3 winners so far and is currently 2nd on the Trainers' Premiership. David Hayes in Hong Kong. Frank Woodhouse is going to join us after the break. We look at the playoffs in the NBL, the basketball.
Well, I think it's all for the doing, and if it doesn't, oh, look at Andrew Gaze. Bartlett to Gaze to Smith. Gaze makes the challenge.